What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. As you guys know, I've been playing a lot of Valorant. It's become my main competitive game, along with it being one of the main games I make content about on this channel. But one thing that has been lingering on YouTube is the idea that Valorant is dying. Whenever I saw titles like that, I always thought to myself, huh? Because in my eyes, the game is still growing, it's still thriving. I'd even argue it's one of the most played first-person shooters in the world, so I had to look into this. So let's get the main question out of the way. Is Valorant dying? For the most part, no. The game is doing just fine. What's actually happening is the game getting stale. A game getting stale and a game dying are two different things, but the point is that Riot needs to do something with the game or else it's going to lose more players. So what should Riot do to Valorant in 2024 and beyond? I do think there needs to be more content when it comes to game modes and features. For example, we don't have a theater mode still, which is pretty embarrassing for a game that's supposed to be a top tier esport. And it's not just for esports. It also helps with content creation with things like montages and analytics and capturing moments from a game without worrying about some kind of external replay system not working on you mid-game. It's pretty frustrating pulling off an insane play only to see that your instant replay stopped working for some reason. In games like Counter-Strike or Halo, I can just look back at the theater mode and save the clip from there. In Valorant, that moment is gone forever, only to be remembered by those that were there at the moment. But I also think the community is taking this a little too far. Every time I see anything Valorant related online, I always see a handful of comments along the lines of, "This is great, but a replay system would be nice." The joke is old and Riot is aware of this for those that are actually serious about this. I just hope people realize that it's not easy making a replay system. I mean, just look at Overwatch. It took them years to get their replay system working, and the same thing can be said with League of Legends. I think people are just upset at this because it wasn't a priority for half of the game's lifespan, but after community feedback, it became a priority, which I understand is upsetting and I'm with everyone on that part, but I don't think making replay system jokes is going to make the process any faster. Another issue I've noticed is the lack of game modes. So far, we have unrated, competitive, swift play, which is basically unrated but shorter, spike rush, which is unrated except shorter and random, deathmatch, team deathmatch, premier, which is basically competitive but for tier 2 and 3 players, and another mode in rotation which comes to either escalation, replication, or snowball fight during the holidays, which didn't happen this year for some reason. For me personally, this is enough, mainly because my main mode is competitive. If I want to take a break from competitive, I play any of the other ones, but a lot of people really want there to be more modes, and I could definitely see the potential for them. What I would suggest is a custom games browser and some kind of editing tool to let players tweak existing modes, make new modes, and even a map editing mode that lets players create their own maps using assets from the game similar to Halo's Forge mode. This would let the community share their own maps and modes with everyone, keeping the game fresh for those that are looking for more out of the game. It also helps with map design, as Riot could do a map contest where people can make maps and turn them into Riot themselves in hopes that their creation becomes an official map used in the official servers. This does bring up the discussion of modding, but I don't think Riot should allow that solely for the purpose of combating cheaters. In short, the easier it is to mod a game, the easier it is to cheat at it. It's the same reason why most console games don't get any mod support. I've noticed this a lot with Halo fans begging for mods to come to console, but that would come with a lot of security risks, and even if modding did happen, it would be extremely limited compared to something like CSGO, where modding is like half of the game's lifeline, but at the same time, that's filled with cheaters, so it kind of proves my point. There also needs to be more incentives to grind ranked. We've been having the same gun buddies since episode 2. I don't know how they can innovate on the buddies themselves, but I would like to see more rewards tied to ranks, like player cards, titles, gun skins, or even a new currency you could use to buy items you can't buy with real money. Some people say that Riot should make more agents at a faster pace, but I actually like that we only get 2 to 3 a year. One thing that most hero shooters suffer from is the crazy amount of heroes people have to learn and deal with. Riot's other title, League of Legends, already has 166 champions, and while I do understand that League of Legends is a very different game compared to Valorant, it's still pretty daunting for someone to look at this and think, yeah, I'm just going to learn all these 166 champions. It's a pretty daunting challenge, especially if you've never played a MOBA before. Even in a shooter game like Rainbow Six, there's still a lot of operators you have to learn and master to enjoy the game, and most people are just going to be overwhelmed with the amount of operators that are in the game. Valorant will hit this point assuming the Asian production continues, but having them release at at a slower pace at least delays that day coming. The only way you could completely stop this from happening is to completely stop the production of any new characters, which is exactly what TF2 did. But at the same time, Team Fortress 2 has been in a massive content drought for years, so it really is a pick your poison situation. A lot of you guys have complained about Smurfs in Valorant and are flaming Riot for not getting rid of them, but as I discussed in a previous video, it's almost impossible to get rid of Smurfs. As long as the game remains free to play and easy to run, you're gonna get a bunch of Smurf accounts. The only way you can get rid of Smurfs is by tying your account to some form of real life identification, like a driver's license or a phone number. But I could already tell that half of you would stop playing the game because of that alone. I mean, look what happened with the anti-cheat, Vanguard. Everyone and their mother was throwing their arms in the air saying it was too intrusive and it was basically malware. If you actually believe that it's malware, you have no idea what that is. And the same thing is happening with League of Legends as we speak, since the anti-cheat is coming to that game. But no matter your stance on the anti-cheat, you can't deny that it simply works, to the point where even CSGO players, or I guess Counter-Strike 2 players, are actually begging Valve to implement something similar. Sure, Valve has their AI-powered anti-cheat going on right now, but at the same time, you could easily get banned just for spinning too fast, so I don't know if that'll age well. My point is that it just comes down to how far you're willing to go to get a proper competitive experience. Some of you might be cool with this, but I also know others that won't be. I'm sure most of these are being worked on as we speak, but I also think that Valorant's development is in a bit of a bottleneck at the moment, since development of the console and mobile ports of Valorant are currently being worked on, and that's going to take some resources away from the PC version of Valorant, at least temporarily. I'm hoping that's the case since it would make sense, but if it isn't, then they really need to step up or the player retention will keep going down. That is going to be it for today's video. What are your guys' thoughts on the current state of Valorant? Do you guys have any other suggestions? Leave them down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe for more content, and I'll talk to you all later.